Hello, I'm Stephen Ho, trader and founder of TheStopHunter. Now, the South African stock market was one of the best performing markets on the planet last year. Now, how can you actually trade and get involved with that stock market as it looks to push on higher into 2022? Well, I'm going to show you in this video, and we're also going to dig into the charts and the technical analysis in a lot more detail to see where the price of that stock exchange could be heading next. So with that, let's get into the analysis. Now this is the JSE South Africa 40 index. Now for those new to the index, this is the 40 best largest companies in South Africa, similar to like the FTSE 100 or the Nasdaq 100. It's the, like I say, South African top index. We've got a weekly line chart here, and you can actually see really for the last 10 years the growth has been quite strong actually with the South African market. Bit flat between 2015 to the start of the COVID, where you can see that big downward spike back down to like the 36,000 area. But since then we've seen a 90% rise in the price of that index. Some key Fibonacci numbers there to the downside really. It's 56,000 at 61.8% line, and then it's all that yellow shaded area which falls between the 50% and 23.6% Fibonacci lines, which is 52,500 to just under 44,000. And upside targets, if we can break from these new highs, 77, 78,000, not out of the question. So you're asking then why the strong growth in the South African stock exchange since spring of 2020? Well, it's not really due to regional local factors. It's more to do with the outlook for the future and the optimism around a global rebound from the pandemic in regards commodities. There's some major players in there like BHP, Sasol, Anglo American. COVID hit the South African economy hard, but it's optimistic, and companies like Richemont were the biggest driver of the stock exchange, or one of the biggest drivers, up a record 84%. So it's really more to do with outlook than, like I say, local factors. So if we see this COVID pandemic subside, then there's probably some more growth to be had from the South African stock market. If you are bearish of the stock market and you don't think the recovery is going to be as strong and you can see the price heading south, then using the 4-line break chart here could give you some potential entry points to look for. On the left we got a daily 4-line break, and I come in on the 2 bar for that, so that's number 67,100 as a possible entry. Time it in with the stochastics below that. On the right hand side we've got a quicker 3-hour 4-line break chart, just to give you some faster entry points if you're more bearish and more aggressive. 68,500, then the same 67,100 as your 2 possible target entries to the downside. And if we head to the daily high, actually I've taken it from that down blip you see there on the left from when the COVID pandemic really hit, and then people started to realise what was going on a lot more, and we can see what's happened to the South African stock market since that point in April of 2020. It's really been rather bullish. It's traded within the 2 standard deviation pink, light blue regression bands there pretty much. When it gets to the top it reverses, when it gets to the bottom it pings on up. If we go to signals at the moment down the bottom, both are reasonably bullish, probably calming down a bit though at the moment, and volatility sort of running its normal sort of numbers around 13, 14, 15%. And we head back into that price action. We've got a buy signal currently in play around the mean of that 2 standard deviation regression band. and we've still got reasonable upside, the light blue shaded area there into 69, 70,000 sort of area. So for you faster traders out there, I've focused in a lot more heavily on the shorter term, and I've got a 300 point block size for the index, and it takes us back to really the start of the recent bull run in September of 21, and that's where I've got the Fibonacci numbers from. But we go down to the signals. It's a bullish trend at the bottom there with the modified DMI. Stochastics just going south as we just pull back slightly in price action, and the regression line indicator there also bullish. Price trading above its longer term moving average, and again we've got a buy signal outside the 2 pink line box breakout setup system. And in terms of Fibonacci numbers, well, upside 72,500 you could be targeting, and downward wise look for those key Fibonacci numbers, and there is a lot of support around 63,500 at 61.8% line, and then look where the 200 moving average trend is, and then that's sort of hitting around that 50% line at the late 61,000s, and below that 38.2% just above 60,000. But overall it's looking quite bullish for the index. So how do you actually trade and invest in this index directly? Well, you could trade futures on it, but you're probably unlikely to have access to that. So the next best thing is CFDs and spread betting. Now, not many brokers out there offer the South African Stock Exchange, but there are a few that do, and I recommend one that we're just going to have a quick look at now and see how you can get involved. So I use a broker called Trade Nation, and full disclosure, they are an affiliate of TheStopHunter, but I only recommend them because I use them personally myself to do the South African stock market and a lot of their other instruments they offer. Now, how do we find the South African Stock Exchange? Well, we head on over to the Market Explorer list on the left. We go down to indices, world, and then we've got the South Africa 40 there. And we've got information that we can find out about the actual trade sizing, market opening times, etc. But that's one great place to trade this index. Good spreads, and like I say, a firm Trade Nation used to be known as Core Spreads that I've used for a long while and thoroughly recommend you trying out. If you want to learn out more about them, hit my website and I've got a bit more detail on them there, or I'll put a link in the description below for you to follow if you want to open up an account. It costs nothing to open, so why not, and then have an explore around them. So let's summarise the technicals, and I've given South African stock market top 40, the SA 40, a bullish overall score. Heikinashi, Renko, all pretty much bullish. Volatility a bit quiet at the moment, so might see some flatness as it pushes on upwards. If you're bearish, then top right there, 4-line break chart out. Numbers for you: 68,500, 67,100, and down the bottom left, targets to the upside 1.62 and 2.33 to 1, and the downside 1.2 to 1 and 2 to 1. So some good range there in either direction, but like I said, looking like it's favouring the bulls at the moment. So the South African Stock Exchange, the SA 40, at the moment still looking pretty strong. Now let me know in those comments below where you think the index may be heading next. Do you agree, disagree? My analysis, love to hear your thoughts. You now know how and where also to trade the index using CFDs and spread bets. So if you liked today's video, please give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons, and all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching, good luck with the trading, and I'll see you in the next video.